Narrabri in the northwest of New South Wales was built on agriculture. But there's a relatively new player in town who's causing quite a stir.
It's really caused a lot of problems here. It's divided our community immensely.
I think it's absolutely necessary and needed for this community in this region here.
This is what the fuss is all about. A proposed coal seam gas project involving more than 850 wells, mostly on state land in a nearby forest. And the project has been given impetus by a prime ministerial call to arms.
We need to get the gas from under our feet.
Do you think the tide is turning for more coal seam gas projects, particularly New South Wales?
Well, look, I mean, I don't think you can say the tide is turning. I think the bottom line is it's up to the industries to continue to demonstrate that they can develop these resources safely.
Unlike Queensland, where coal seam gas has been produced for more than 20 years, the industry has stalled in New South Wales. Opponents fear the extraction of methane from the coal seam will damage the groundwater farmers rely on. The SANTOS coal seam gas project at Narrabri has yet to secure the final state environmental approvals, despite the company's considerable investment. How much has Santos already invested in the Narrabri project?
Oh, look, it's somewhere in the region of around $1.5 billion.
While New South Wales authorities are assessing the environmental effect of the project, the federal government is pushing for more domestic gas developments.
The Narrabri project is almost a symbol for some other things in a sense, right? It's a symbol for the Commonwealth trying to find ways to work with the states.
This new emphasis on gas was demonstrated by a recent $2 billion federal and New South Wales government deal. It commits that state to providing additional gas, approximately the same amount as the Narrabri project, which Santos says will supply up to half the state's needs. To what extent has the recent gas agreement between the New South Wales and federal governments helped your case?
Well, look, I mean, I guess that we have to wait and see how that plays out. I mean, I think the most pleasing aspect of that from my perspective and from a Santos perspective was the recognition and the public acknowledgement that gas has to play a central part of any emissions reduction strategies that the government want to pursue in the years ahead.
But gas, although cleaner than coal, is still a carbon-emitting fossil fuel, and how big a role it will play in the future is very much open to debate.
What's been happening in the last 10 years is, firstly, the cost of wind and the cost of solar have come down much, much more than anyone expected and much faster. And secondly, the cost of gas in Australia has gone up, as many people would know. And that combination means that role of gas to replace coal is unlikely now to be the sort of transition fuel role that we'd expect, but maybe there's a different role for gas.
As farmers in the Narrabri region welcome potentially drought-breaking rain, the debate isn't about whether gas is a transition fuel, but something much more tangible.
The main threat here with this industry is to our precious underground water.
Robin King runs a mixed farming operation south of the proposed Santos project and fears its approval will open the floodgates to other coal seam gas projects.
There's enough science out there to convince the majority of people that it cannot coexist. Coal seam gas extraction and agriculture cannot coexist.
Anthony Brennan disagrees. His property borders the Santos project and he's convinced the risk to groundwater is minimal.
One of the key things for the region around here is what it'll do for our economy and the jobs, particularly for young people and keeping them in this region. I think that's an important thing.
Divisions over the coal seam gas project extend all the way to the Shire Council chambers here. When a motion was put late last year to support the Santos project on the grounds that it boosted the local economy, 5 of the 9 councillors voted for it, 1 abstained, but 3 councillors voted against.
I've brought in the box.
Local businesswoman Anne Loader was one of the dissenting councillors.
I know of people that were neighbours and relatives that don't speak to anybody, don't speak to each other anymore. And that's really sad for us because Narrabri is a lovely place.
Why do you think the community is so split over the project?
I think there's been a lot of scaremongering going on.
The Narrabri coal seam gas project ticks all the right boxes for the Morrison government. Jobs, a lower emission transition plan and a new resources deal with the big estate.
If this deal between the Commonwealth and the New South Wales government does unlock that project, then from that perspective you can certainly see, A, it will be a win for the Prime Minister in what he's trying to pursue, not a loss for the state government.
The project still has to clear the state's Independent Planning Commission, and the timing of the Prime Ministerial intervention, while pleasing supporters, has left many here deeply suspicious.
My message to Scott Morrison is he needs to come out here and talk to us. We've never spoken to any of the premiers or prime ministers in relation to the coal seam gas issue.
I just think someone needs to make a decision. You know, if it can go ahead, fine. If it can't, well, just tell them it can't and let everyone get on with it.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.